The next thing Percy knew, he was once again, for the second time in his life, this time with friends, back in the throne of Olympus. This time, everyone was there, all 12 Olympian gods. Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Ares, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Hephaestus, Aphrodite, Hermes, Dionysus. The 12 Olympians. Percy noticed on the high ceiling a new constellation was added. The new Zoe Nightshade constellation. Grover had already arrived a little earlier with Bessie. While Grover was sitting next to Zeus's throne, Bessie was floating inside a watery bubble. "Welcome, heroes," Artemis said. "The council has been informed of your deeds," she continued. "They know of the rise of Mount Ophiotaurus and of the gathering of Kronos' army. We have voted to act. At my lord Zeus's command, my brother Apollo and I shall hunt down all the most powerful monsters before they can join the Titans' cause. Lady Athena shall check on the other Titans and assure us they do not escape their various prisons. Lord Poseidon has been granted permission to unleash his full fury on the cruise ship, the Princess Andromeda, and send it to the bottom of the sea. And as for you, my heroes," she turned to the other gods, "these half-bloods had done Olympus a great service. Would any here deny that?" For a moment, the gods just stared at the kids, thinking and thinking. Percy wondered if they could really make his body explode right there with just a thought. Then finally, Apollo spoke up. "I gotta say, these kids did okay." "Yes," said Hermes, "all in favor of not disintegrating them." So far, Poseidon's, Zeus's, Demeter's, and Aphrodite's hands were up. "Now wait just a minute," Ares growled. "These two are dangerous," he said, pointing to Percy and Thalia. "I'd feel much safer zapping them where they stand." "Ares," Poseidon interrupted. "They are worthy heroes. We will not blow my son to bits." "Nor my daughter," Zeus said. "She has done quite well." Thalia blushed, and Percy knew how she felt. They both hardly saw their dads, much less get a compliment from them. Then Athena stood up and said, "I am proud of my daughter as well, but there is a security risk here with the other two. It is most unfortunate that both my father and uncle choose to break their oaths not to have any further offsprings beyond the Second Great War. Only Hades had kept his word, a fact that I find quite ironic. As we know from the great prophecy, children of the three elder gods such as Thalia and Perseus are in fact quite dangerous. And as thick-headed as Ares can be, he has in fact have a fair point." "You see, I told ya," said Ares. "Hey, wait a minute, who you calling?" "Oh, save your breath, Ares. You're gonna need it much more later on," Dionysus sighed. "Well, you're one to talk, you little drunk," Ares growled. "You seriously want to protect these little brats?" "I have no love for them any more than I have no love at all for any hero," Dionysus admitted. "So do you believe it is safest to destroy them, Athena?" "I do not pass judgment," she said. "I only point out the risk. What we do, the council must decide." "I will not have them punished," Artemis said. "I will have them rewarded. If we choose to destroy heroes who do us a great favor, we are no better than the Titans. If this is Olympian justice, I will have none of it." "Calm down, little sis. You need to lighten up," Apollo said. "Do not call me sis," Artemis said. "I will reward them." "Well, perhaps," Zeus said, "but we all have agreement that this beast must be destroyed at least." "You want to kill Bessie?" Percy interrupted. Poseidon frowned. "You named it Bessie? You do know it's male, son, don't you?" "Please, Dad," Percy begged. "He's a really nice creature. You can't kill him." Percy, its power is considerable, Poseidon said. If the Titans were able to steal it, or even... You can't, Percy insisted. Then he looked over at Zeus. He knew he should have acted afraid of him, but he was already looking deep into his stormy eyes. Controlling prophecies never work, he continued. Besides, the Ophiotaurus is innocent. Killing something like that is just wrong. It's just as wrong as Kronos eating his own children for something they might do. It's just wrong. Zeus seemed to consider that. Then he asked, "And what of the risk? Kronos knows full well that you could have the power to destroy us if you wish, if you'd sacrifice the beast's remains. And you, my daughter," he said, looking at Thalia, "will turn 16 tomorrow, just as the prophecy says." "Sir, please, you have to trust them," Olympus said. "Trust a hero?" "Yes," Artemis said, "which is why I must first make a reward. My faithful companion Zoe Nightshade has passed into the stars. I must seek a new lieutenant. But first, I must have a word with you, Father." As they had their backs turned, Percy felt a chill up his spine and took Annabeth's hand. "Annabeth, please, please don't," he begged her. "Don't what?" she asked. "I don't know how I can stand it if... I don't want... I can't... Percy, you look like you're gonna be sick." That's exactly how he felt, but he didn't say so, and he couldn't say much more. Then Artemis turned and said, "I shall have my new lieutenant, if she will accept it. Will you choose to join the hunt, daughter of Zeus?" Stunned silence filled the room. Thalia looked at her friends. Annabeth gave her a smile, and she smiled back. Then she focused on Artemis and said, "I will." Zeus's eyes were filled with concern. "My daughter, consider well." "Father," Thalia said, "I will not turn 16 tomorrow, because I will never turn 16, because I won't let this prophecy become mine. I stand with my sister Artemis. Kronos will never tempt me again." She knelt before the moon goddess and repeated the same words Bianca said back in Maine, which seemed so long ago. And at that moment, the only living daughter of Zeus was blessed with immortality. After that, she did something even more surprising. She smiled at Percy and gave him a big hug, which made him blush. "Aren't you not supposed to do that anymore?" he asked. Hugging boys. "There's nothing against being passionate to a friend," she said. "This is my chance to finally know peace, Percy. I feel like for the first time, I have a home. Besides, you're the hero, not me. You'll be that kid in the prophecy." "Great," he muttered. "I'm glad we're friends." "And now for the Ophiotaurus," Artemis said. "The boy is dangerous," Dionysus said, "and the beast is a temptation to great power, even if we spare the boy." "No," Percy said. "Look, my dad can keep him safe. He can hide him under the sea somewhere, but it has to be protected." "And just why should we trust you?" Hephaestus asked. "Look, I'm only 14, Percy said. If the prophecy is about me, that's in 2 more years. 2 more years for Kronos to deceive you," said Athena. "Much can change in 2 years, my young hero." "I will not have a sea creature destroyed if I can help it," Poseidon said. "And I can help it." He raised up his trident and said, "I will vouch for my son and the safety of the Ophiotaurus." "You will not take it under the sea," Zeus demanded. "I will not have that kind of bargaining chip in your possession." "Brother, please," Poseidon said. Zeus's lightning bolt appeared in his hand and started sparkling with shafts of electricity. Fine, I will build an aquarium here for him to stay in, Poseidon sighed. We shall protect it with all our powers to keep it safe, and the boy will not betray us. I have vouched for this in my honor. Zeus thought about that for a moment and said, All in favor? To Percy's surprise, the only ones that kept their hands down were Ares, Athena, and Dionysus. It is settled, Zeus said, and since we won't be destroying these heroes, I believe we should honor them. Let the celebration begin! Now there are mortal parties, and then there are godly parties. You haven't lived until you've been to a godly party. The table was filled with all kinds of snacks, including ambrosia and nectar. There were even those never-empty soda goblets of whatever drink you wanted, like a Camp Half-Blood. The music was somehow whatever any single person wanted to hear. So while others wanted to listen to modern trash, others could listen to classic hits if they wanted to, and no one was disappointed. So, while they could expect chaos in the near future, the gods and heroes partied on. As Dionysus went around passing drinks, a beautiful woman held his hand. It was his wife, Ariadne. For the first time, Dionysus looked real happy, and Percy could have never expected that from him. The gods kept coming over to Percy and congratulating him. Hermes started chatting with him, at least until his phone rang. Apollo offered him some sun chariot driving lessons, but he wasn't interested. Then someone else's voice got his attention. You won't let me down, I hope. It was his father. Dad, hi. Hello, Percy. You've done quite well on your quest, son. Thanks, Percy said. And yeah, I won't let you down, I promise. And I'm afraid your friend, Luke... He's not my friend, Percy blurted out. Then he realized it almost sounded rude the way that came out. Sorry, he said. Your former friend, Luke, Poseidon said. He had promised things like that to Hermes before. He was his father's pride and joy. Bear that in mind, Percy. Even the bravest can fall very far. Luke did fall pretty bad, Percy said. And I'm sorry that he's dead and... No, Percy, Poseidon said. He's not dead. I'm afraid he is still very much alive. What? I believe Annabeth told you this, and I have seen it. His followers have him safely on a ship which now sails away from San Francisco, with the remains of Kronos. He will regroup before assaulting you again. Old enemies of mine, older ocean spirits, will be on his side trying to protect his ship. But I will do everything to bring it down. But how could he survive that kind of fall? Percy asked. I do not know, but whatever the explanation is, he is much more dangerous now more than ever. What about Atlas? Percy asked. I believe that is behind us now, Poseidon answered. His only chance of escaping his burden is if someone else with enough strength, courage, and a true heart would choose at their own free will to take it from him. No one in Kronos' army would dare. Luke did it, Percy said. Then he tricked Annabeth into taking it. Then he used her to trap Artemis. Luke is an interesting case, Poseidon said. Anyway, I can't stay for the final dance. I must go get Bessie ready for his new home. You be good now, my son. We may not be able to speak again for some time. And just like that, he was gone. Again.